Long before smartphones took the world by storm, during the early days of mobile gaming, the market was dominated by Java-based games. Among them was Beowulf, a mobile game inspired by the epic Anglo-Saxon legend and its 2007 film adaptation. Regardless of the hardware limits of the time, the game managed to deliver a thrilling action-adventure experience. The plot of Beowulf tells the story of the legendary Scandinavian warrior Beowulf, a hero known for his incredible strength and courage. Players take on his role as he sets out to aid King Hrothgar, whose kingdom is under attack by the mythical creature Grendel. From there, the adventure turns into a tale of battles, revenge, and destiny. The gameplay is mainly side-scrolling, combining combat, location exploration, and simple puzzles. Players fight their way through hordes of enemies using a combination of melee attacks, combos, and special moves. Timing and positioning play a crucial role, especially when facing stronger enemies and bosses. One of the game's main highlights is the boss encounters. Players must face off with iconic characters from the legend, including Grendel and other terrifying creatures. Each boss requires a different strategy, making the gameplay more dynamic and challenging. From a graphical standpoint, Beowulf pushed the boundaries of what was possible for Java mobile games at the time. The character sprites were detailed, and the environments were atmospheric, capturing the dark and grim tone of the original story. While the game may seem simple by today's standards, at the time it was impressive to see such graphics on the small screen of a mobile device. Sound was also a big part of the immersive experience. Even though it was simple, the music and sound effects helped build tension and create a sense of presence, especially when the battles got intense. The controls were designed for classic mobile phones using a numeric keypad. Despite this limitation, the game was intuitive and easy to learn, making it accessible to a wide audience. Another interesting aspect of Beowulf is how the original story has been adapted. While the game follows the general plot, more dynamic episodes have been added to suit the gameplay style. As a result, it becomes less of a direct recounting and more of an interactive interpretation of the legend. At the time of its release, games like Beowulf were an important part of mobile gaming history. They showed how developers could create engaging experiences even with limited technology. For many players, these games were their first introduction to gaming on the go. Beowulf stands as a nostalgic reminder of the Java gaming story. While modern games have far surpassed it in terms of graphics and complexity, there's still a certain charm in revisiting these classics. They represent a time when creativity had to overcome technical limitations, and developers relied on clever design rather than raw power. If you ever get the chance to try Beowulf on an old device or emulator, it's worth experiencing, not just for the gameplay, but for a glimpse into the early days of mobile gaming. Released in 2008, Brother-in-Arms, Art of War was developed and published by Gameloft, a company well known for pushing the limits of mobile gaming long before smartphones became powerful. Back then, most phones used Java technology, also known as J2ME, which meant developers had to create games that were small, efficient, and still fun to play. Game is a top-down shooter set during World War II, putting players in the role of a soldier fighting through intense missions across different battlefields. From storming enemy trenches to rescuing allies, the game captures the chaos and strategy of war in a compact mobile format. What made Brother-in-Arms stand out was its mix of action and tactical gameplay. Players could take cover, use different weapons like rifles and grenades, and command their squad in certain missions. This added a layer of strategy that wasn't common in most mobile games at the time. While the graphics were simple by today's standards, they were surprisingly detailed for Java phones. Explosions, environments, and character animations brought the battlefield to life, even on small, low-resolution screens. Gameloft's success with this title was part of a wider initiative to offer console-style gaming experiences on mobile devices. The Brothers-in-Arms series originally started on PC and consoles and was developed by Gearbox Software. Gameloft then adapted it for mobile audiences. Today, Art of War is a nostalgic reminder of the early days of mobile gaming, when creativity and smart design mattered more than raw hardware power. Developed and published by Gameloft, one of the biggest mobile game studios at the time, Bubble Bash 2 was released in the late 2000s for Java-enabled phones. Gameloft was known for bringing high-quality gaming experiences to simple devices and played a major role in shaping the pre-smartphone gaming world. At its core, Bubble has a simple yet highly engaging concept. Players shoot colored bubbles and try to match 3 or more of the same color to make them burst. This style of gameplay was inspired by classic arcade titles like Puzzle Bobble, but Bubble Bash 2 added its own twist with creative level design and physics-based mechanics. The game's variety is what made it stand out. It features over 100 levels and around 16 different modes of play, each introducing new challenges and mechanics to keep players engaged. From floating clusters tied to balloons to pivot-based levels that shift with every shot, the game constantly changed the way players approached each puzzle. The game also took players on a themed adventure set in a stylized African environment, adding a sense of progression and exploration. Players could unlock characters and experience different challenges, ensuring that every playthrough felt fresh. Despite its simple controls and small file size, often under 1 MB, the game provided hours of entertainment, proving that great gameplay doesn't require powerful hardware. Unlike traditional simulation games, in which players build cities, Bulldozer Inc. tasked players with a much more destructive mission: tear everything down. The game was developed and published by Handy Games, a well-known studio that was famous for creating fun and accessible mobile titles during the early days of mobile gaming. It was released in the mid-2000s for mobile phones. In-game, players step into the driver's seat of a powerful construction machine, a massive bulldozer that feels more like a tank than a work vehicle. Your objective is simple yet incredibly satisfying: demolish buildings, cause chaos, and turn entire areas into piles of rubble. However, it's not just mindless destruction. The game challenges you to consider how to destroy each structure. Hit too slowly, and the building won't collapse. Go too fast, and you risk damaging your bulldozer or losing control. The gameplay really shines with this balance between speed and precision. Handy Games has also added useful power-ups, such as dynamite and fuel boosts, to help players maximize destruction and earn more in-game money. One of Bulldozer's standout features is its fully destructible environment. Every building can be taken down in multiple ways, giving players the freedom to experiment with different strategies. The game includes different modes, such as a fast-paced rampage mode, in which players try to destroy as much as possible within a limited time. If you ever played Java games on an old Nokia or Sony Ericsson phone, chances are Bulldozer Inc. was one of those titles that let you unleash pure, satisfying chaos, one building at a time. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the next video.